Welcome to Talk Tensors. We're here to take a deep dive into machine learning research papers.
Yep, we try to break down the complex stuff, make it accessible.
Exactly. We want to give you the key insights, make it understandable and hopefully interesting. Your shortcut to AI advancements.
And today we've got a really interesting one. It's about using advanced AI in, well, a critical area. Precision medicine, specifically drug recommendations.
That's right. The paper is called TXAgent, an AI agent for evidence-grounded treatment recommendations. And it really dives into a big challenge for ML.
Which is?
How do you build AI that can give accurate and personalized treatment advice? Not just spitting out info, but actually reasoning through complex stuff using up-to-date knowledge. So the researchers propose this thing, TXAgent. It's a new way, they say, combining multi-step reasoning with real-time access to biomedical knowledge.
Yeah, and this is super important. Precision therapy is all about tailoring treatments, right? Maximize the good stuff, minimize the risks for each person. But current LLMs, even the really big, impressive ones, they still kind of stumble here.
How so?
Well, they often don't have the latest medical info. Sometimes they, make stuff up hallucination.
Right. Not good in medicine.
Not good at all. And they can struggle with complex logic, juggling all the different patient factors.
Okay, so TXAgent is aiming to fix these specific problems. Our mission today, then, is to figure out how TXAgent works, why it's potentially a big step forward for AI in healthcare.
And maybe where this kind of research could go next.
Let's get into it. So what is TXAgent at its core?
Okay, so basically it's an AI agent. Its whole job is to give treatment recommendations, but ones that are based on solid evidence.
And how does it do that?
It uses a mix of things. First, multi-step reasoning. Second, it plugs into a bunch of real-time biomedical tools.
Okay.
And crucially, when it gives you an answer, it also shows its work, like a step-by-step trail of how it got there. Transparency is key.
That traceability is really important. So what are the big innovations here? From an ML point of view, the paper mentioned a few things.
Yeah, definitely. First up is that multi-step reasoning. It's not just looking something up once. TXAgent can actually, think things through iteratively. Meaning it can explore different options, weigh interactions between factors, and kind of refine its plan step by step. It's a sequence of logical steps, not just one leap.
Got it. More like how a doctor might think through a case.
Exactly. And tied to that is the second big thing,
right.
Real-time biomedical tool integration.
Right. You mentioned tools.
Yeah, it uses something called Tool Universe. Think of it as a curated toolbox filled with 211 expert vetted tools.
211. Wow. What kind of tools are we talking about?
A whole range. Tools for checking drug mechanisms, potential interactions, accessing the latest clinical guidelines, getting detailed disease info.
Yeah.
It's pretty comprehensive.
Okay, 211 tools sounds like a lot to manage. How does it pick the right one? And how do they even build that?
Good question. That brings us to innovation number 3. The TXAgent system.
TXAgent?
Yeah, it's pretty clever. It's actually a multi-agent system itself, designed to automatically generate the tool integrations.
Oh.
It basically reads the API documentation, the manuals for these biomedical resources, and figures out how to create a tool for TXAgent to use.
So it automates building the connections. That's smart. Makes it scalable.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It avoids needing humans to manually code every single tool connection. A key insight for making this practical.
Okay, so multi-step reasoning, the huge tool universe, and TXAgent to build it. What else?
Number 4 is the TXAgent Instruct dataset. This is crucial. It's a large data set they created specifically to teach TXAgent how to reason and use its tools effectively.
So like training data focused on the how.
Exactly. It's made up of examples showing those multi-step reasoning paths and the specific tool calls made along the way. It's instruction tuning, but tailored for this complex task.
And the last piece was new benchmarks, right? They had to create ways to actually test this thing properly.
Yep, that's number 5. They developed 5 new benchmark data sets: drug PC, brand PC, generic PC, description PC, and treatment PC.
Catchy names.
Maybe. But they're designed very specifically to test different things. Choosing the right drug, personalizing treatment, how robust the reasoning is, getting a really comprehensive evaluation.
Okay, that makes sense. You build something new, you need new ways to measure it. So we've got the architecture, the innovations. How well does it actually work? The paper seemed pretty confident.
It did, and the results look pretty strong. Across all 5 of those new benchmarks, TXAgent consistently outperformed much larger general-purpose LLMs.
Like which ones?
We're talking GPT-4 and LLaMA 3.1, a 70B instruct models with way more parameters, and it also beat existing models that are designed for tool use.
Really?
Yeah, they're reporting state-of-the-art accuracy for tasks like open-ended drug reasoning and making patient-specific treatment decisions.
Can you give us some numbers? Those comparisons really tell a story.
Sure. So on Drug PC, that's the benchmark for reasoning about drugs in an open-ended way where it generates the answer directly.
Okay.
TXAgent hit 92.1% accuracy. Compare that to GPT-4 at 66.3% and LLaMA 3.170B at just 52.8%.
Wow, that's a massive difference.
It really is. It suggests that for specialized tasks like this, clever design and the right tools can beat brute force scale.
A really important insight for ML development.
Definitely. And then on Treatment PC, which is about personalized recommendations, TXAgent beat GPT-4 by 13.6% and LLaMA 3.170B by over 25% in those open-ended settings.
Again, significant margins.
And get this, TXAgent, which is based on an 8 billion parameter model, even outperformed DeepSeek R1 on Treatment PC.
DeepSeek R1, isn't that huge? Like 671 billion parameters and optimized for reasoning.
Exactly. But TXAgent still came out ahead on the open-ended queries. It really highlights the power of its specialized reasoning and efficient tool use over just raw model size.
Okay, so the performance gains are clear. A smaller, smarter system can win. Now, to really get why TXAgent is a step forward, let's rewind a bit. What was the situation before systems like this? What were the big problems with using, say, standard LLMs for medical treatments?
Right. Context is key. So traditional LLMs, for all their language skills, had some pretty fundamental roadblocks in therapeutics. First big one, lack of real-time knowledge.
The knowledge cutoff issue.
Exactly. They're trained on data up to a certain point. The paper mentions LLaMA 3.18b being trained up to December 2023. So any new drug, new guideline after that, the model just doesn't know.
Which is obviously a problem in a field that moves as fast as medicine.
A huge problem. Then there's the hallucination issue, generating plausible but totally wrong medical facts.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Extremely dangerous.
Critical concern for patient safety. You absolutely can't have an AI confidently making up treatments.
Definitely not. What else?
They also struggled with complex multi-step reasoning involving lots of variables.
Like putting all the patient's details together.
Right. Age, other conditions, potential drug interactions. Doctors juggle all this. Standard LLMs weren't great at systematically reasoning through that complex web of factors.
It's like they could know facts, but not connect them reliably in a complex scenario.
Kind of, yeah. Plus, there's the practical side. Retraining these giant models constantly with new medical data is incredibly expensive and computationally intensive.
And they might forget older stuff when they learn new things.
That's the catastrophic forgetting problem, yeah. You try to update them, and they lose valuable prior knowledge. It's not a sustainable update path.
Like that map analogy, adding a new street makes you forget the old ones.
Exactly. And finally, a subtle but important point. They often learn from the open web, right? Which means they can absorb dodgy or unverified medical info during training.
Oof. So reliability is a major concern there, too.
Absolutely. So you had outdated knowledge, potential inaccuracies, weak complex reasoning, update difficulties, and unreliable source data.
Yep.
A tough set of challenges.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So that naturally led to the idea of tool-augmented LLMs, right?
Yeah.
Trying to plug some of those gaps.
Exactly. That was the next logical step. The idea was, okay, let's give these LLMs access to external knowledge sources.
Like using armored retrieval augmented generation.
Precisely. Let the model look up current drug info or disease details from reliable databases before it answers. It was a direct attempt to fix the knowledge cutoff problem.
Okay, so that lets them pull in fresh information, a definite improvement.
Yeah.
But the paper suggests even these models had limitations.
They did. While retrieval helped with getting facts, many existing tool-augmented models still struggled with the deeper multi-step reasoning.
Ah, so they could find the ingredients, but didn't always know the recipe.
That's a great way to put it. Fetching info is one thing, but analyzing it, synthesizing it, planning multiple steps based on it, that's harder. That's the kind of nuanced thinking needed for complex treatment plans. And they also often face limits on how many tools they could effectively use. The model's context window can only handle so much information at once, and describing the tools themselves takes up space.
So they might have access to tools, but couldn't juggle very many effectively.
Yeah, that was often a bottleneck. The paper mentions models like Toolace and WattTool and points out how TXAgent goes beyond them, both in the complexity of its reasoning and the number of tools it can handle.
Okay, so earlier tool users were a step, but maybe not the whole staircase. They got external knowledge in, but struggled with the complex reasoning using that knowledge and managing lots of tools.
Exactly. And that's where TXAgent positions itself as the next generation. Building on tool use, but adding true multi-step reasoning, smarter tool selection from that big tool universe, and that crucial transparency. It's about reasoning with the knowledge, not just retrieving it.
Okay, great. That sets the stage perfectly. We understand TXAgent, its performance, and the journey to get here. Let's pivot now to our novel notions section looking ahead. Where could this research lead? You wanted to start with expanding tool universe.
Yeah, I think this is really interesting from an ML research perspective. Right now, Tool Universe has 211 tools, mostly focused on drugs and diseases, which is already impressive.
But healthcare involves more than just that.
Exactly. Think about other data types crucial for doctors. Pathology slides, data from electronic health records, lab results coming in from the web.
Right. Images, structured data, real-time results.
The paper hints at the potential to add tools that handle these other modalities. Imagine a future TXAgent that doesn't just check drug interactions, but can also analyze a patient's latest blood work, or even interpret patterns in a medical image.
That would be a huge leap in capability, moving from text-based knowledge to truly multimodal clinical data.
It really would. And this kind of multimodal support could let these AI agents handle much more complex, specialized cases. Maybe diagnosing something rare requires analyzing genetic data and imaging data and lab trends.
So combining insights from different types of data sources.
Precisely. Reasoning across these diverse streams could lead to much more accurate, holistic assessments. It pushes the boundary of AI in healthcare significantly.
That makes a lot of sense. A more complete picture of the patient. Another idea you raised was about creating specialized AI agents.
Yeah, TXAgent provides a powerful blueprint, right? Core LM reasoning plus this curated dynamic toolbox. So the question becomes, could we use this pattern for other specialized areas, even more specialized than general medicine?
You mean like a TXAgent just for cardiology? Or maybe one focused only on oncology?
Exactly. Tailored tool sets for specific medical fields. You could even imagine an Alzheimer's TXAgent with tools hyper-focused on dementia research and treatment guidelines.
Okay, specializing within medicine.
But it could go beyond medicine, too. Think about finance, complex engineering, specific scientific research areas, anywhere you need real-time, verified data plus complex reasoning. You could build specialized agents for those domains using the same core idea.
It's like a modular approach to AI expertise, core reasoning, plug in specialized knowledge tools.
Interesting. The paper also hinted at something even more advanced, a multi-agent system of TX agents. What's that about?
Yeah, that was a brief but fascinating mention. They suggested that tools could potentially be other specialized agents, or you could have multiple TX agent instances collaborating.
So not just one AI, but a team of interacting AIs.
Kind of, yeah. Imagine a complex case where one AI agent specializes in drug interactions, another in interpreting lab results, maybe a third focuses on ethical considerations or patient history.
Like an AI tumor board or diagnostic team.
Exactly. These specialized agents could communicate, share insights, and work together to tackle really complex medical challenges. It opens up really exciting research avenues in distributed and collaborative AI. That definitely sounds like a potential future direction. A team of AI specialists. Lastly, you wanted to touch on the tool RAG model, the thing that actually finds the right tool in that big tool universe.
Yes, tool RAG is the engine that selects the right tool for the job from those 211 options. The paper makes it clear that its accuracy is absolutely critical.
Because if it picks the wrong tool, the fancy reasoning doesn't help much.
Precisely. The whole system relies on getting the right information or capability at the right time. The researchers showed that they had to iteratively train and improve tool RAG, highlighting its importance.
So future work needs to keep improving that tool finding part.
Absolutely. That's likely a big area for ongoing research. How do you make tool retrieval even faster, more accurate, especially as tool universe potentially grows much larger and more diverse?
Maybe better ways to understand the meaning of the query and the tools.
Yeah, things like more sophisticated semantic understanding, better context awareness, maybe entirely new ways to index and search through these specialized capabilities. Improving that tool RAG component will be key to scaling systems like TXAgent.
Sounds like there's still plenty of research to do building on this foundation.
Okay.
Let's wrap up this deep dive. What's the main takeaway message about TXAgent for our listeners?
I think the core message is that TXAgent shows a really smart way forward for AI in complex fields like precision medicine. It proves you can get state-of-the-art results by combining LLM strengths language understanding with real-time verified knowledge access and sophisticated reasoning. It tackles the weaknesses of earlier models head-on.
It's about the intelligent combination of capabilities. And for our audience, why is understanding TXAgent important?
Well, it gives you a glimpse into where AI is heading. It shows how designing systems thoughtfully, integrating specialized knowledge and reasoning can solve real-world problems more effectively than just scaling up general models. It's relevant for anyone interested in the future of AI applications, especially in critical areas like healthcare.
Great point. It's about the architectural lessons as much as the specific application. Okay, time for our final provocative thought for the listener. We see systems like TXAgent emerging, combining reasoning with deep, specialized knowledge. Thinking beyond just medicine, where do you see the most exciting potential for this kind of AI architecture in the next few years? What problems could it unlock? Definitely something to chew on.
Absolutely. And if this discussion piqued your interest, definitely check out the original paper, TXAgent, an AI agent for evidence-grounded treatment recommendations. You can find it in academic databases. There's a lot more detail in there on their methods and results.
Thanks for that excellent breakdown. And thanks to everyone listening to Talk Tensors.